I'm live. Hey guys, you're welcome. It's been a while, but it's a pleasure to see you guys again. I've been very busy. That's all. Today we decided to talk about how to get documents, prepare your documents for travel, scholarships, the whole shebang. So I've actually brought in someone who's very knowledgeable in that aspect and would educate us. So I will not be talking much today. But let me just say this before we go ahead to say that basically, we talk about migration, moving to different countries here and there. And I've got all the information on all my platforms, especially my YouTube channel, which is a place where you can get all the information. I have videos. You can travel to different places: Norway, Finland, Sweden, United Kingdom, United States, Republic of Ireland, Japan, China, Belgium, Netherlands, lots and lots of countries. I cannot even stop mentioning. But today we're talking about how to get those documents you need, how to put them in place, and how to line them up. Okay. I'm going to leave this video on my platform when we finish. I'm going to also upload it on my YouTube channel. All right. So let me bring her up. I'm not going to talk much today, so just listen carefully to her, and she'll be doing all the talking. Okay. I'm just going to bring her up now. I'm going to bring her up now. Um, because that's also important. I know that, I talk about how to do it, how to move to this country. Get how do I write, so and so, how do I do this? Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Thanks. I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for coming on my show, on my live stream. We talked about this just a while ago, and you said you were going to be free to talk us through it. So, I mean, basically, we've had a chat about what we want to talk about, and
Yeah, sure.
you're the expert in this. You're the guest here, so I'm not going to talk at all. I'm just going to listen and learn from you as well. But basically, I've told viewers that we're talking about how to get your documents in line for migration, for scholarships. All you need to do, well, most things that you need to do. I know that we
Mm-hmm.
have just 30, 40 minutes, so we're going to try our best to cover them as much as possible. And later on, would answer questions for those who like to ask questions. So the floor is yours. Go ahead and shoot.
Okay, thank you very much, first of all, for having me.
A
I
pleasure.
started this journey of sharing information about how to migrate through scholarship and through the academic route. I pretty much started on Twitter, I think last year. And I've gotten a lot of questions, a couple of people asking, why are you offering your services for free and why are you doing it? And my sole purpose is that I was once in their position where I never had this information. And somehow some people would have taken advantage of me because okay, I was reaching out to people that I thought okay may have this information. Could you help me with this? Could you help me with that? And most times they were people trying to take advantage of me simply because I need this information. So however, I went into the journey blindly. It's not like today where we have a lot of details on Twitter and YouTube, everything is going on. So I went in blindly and somehow I saw the light. And I find joy and fulfillment in sharing with people about available scholarships and how to go about it. So in today's
Absolutely.
video, just like you said, I am going to talk about how to prepare your document, for graduate school applications and scholarship applications. So I should start, right?
Yeah, go ahead, fire on.
Okay. Now, first of all, what is graduate school? What is graduate school application? I think we all know, right? The viewers know what it's about. It's graduate school is specifically for those who have had their undergraduate studies before and are going higher. But actually, this video will help even those that are seeking admission into undergraduate studies. So it's for everybody. Now, when you want to seek for admission or scholarship abroad, there are certain things you have to do. I will go through just an overview and then I will list the documents and I will go into details about what you should include in this document and what shouldn't be included. First of all, I would say as an adult, you know what you want to study, right? And then if you are looking at studying abroad, then definitely you have to have a country of interest. Though most times I tell people don't be too rigid about your country of interest because there are scholarships and opportunities everywhere. So I see a lot of especially Nigerians being so focused on UK, Canada, and all of that. But there are
Yeah,
opportunities everywhere, and I advise
everywhere.
people to take advantage of it. Now, when you have an idea of what you want to study, then you should go on Google. Search is a particular university in a certain country that does your course of study, okay? After you have identified that, you now go to their application requirements. Look at the requirements and the deadline. This is going to guide you on how to prepare and to make sure that you don't miss the deadline. When you have the deadline and then you have the application requirements, usually the requirements may vary based on university or country, but there are pretty much standard documents that are required for graduate school applications, which I'm going to list now. Number one is your certificate. Now, you may wonder, okay, what if I've not completed my study? The good news is that you don't necessarily have to complete your study at the time of application, okay? For example, if I am in my final year of study and I know that I will complete my study in like September, and I am applying for a program that will resume in February next year. So I can pretty much apply for that program, okay? I just have to mention tentatively the time I will complete my study. And for sure, you must complete your study before the resumption of the program you applied for. So the first thing I mentioned is your certificate, and the second thing is your transcript of records. Now, your transcript of records is basically a document that contains information about the courses you did in school and the grades you obtained. And then it also gives information about the grading scheme in your school. So that is the transcript of records. So the next important thing is your CV. So in a minute, I will go into details about writing your CV. And then you have your statement of purpose. Sometimes they may call it motivation letter, whatever they call it. So we will also talk about that in details. And then another document you need for sure is a recommendation letter or a referee. So you must have informed someone that will speak for you. And when it comes to writing recommendation letters, I tell my people, please don't just take anybody to write a recommendation letter for you, because I mean anybody can write a generic letter for you, but of course if you need a solid recommendation that will get you a scholarship. Okay, someone said, I think she's talking about MSc. No, it's actually for everybody. What I'm saying will help everybody. So it's basically for applying for admission and scholarship into a higher institution or whatever you may call it. Yeah. So a recommendation letter, actually, the person that should write your letter should be someone that has worked with you. It should be your research supervisor. It should be your teacher that has worked with you closely, that can give details about your personality. The recommendation letter should say something more than, okay, this lady has a high grade or obtained high grades from school. It should say something more than that. It should talk about your personality. It should talk about your ability to work as a team. It should talk about how pleasant it was to work with you when you were working with this particular person. It should talk about the achievements the group were able to achieve while you were with them. So these are the very details that a stranger cannot just give. So your research supervisor, a person where you had worked with, a person where you did internship with or whatever, can help you to give a good recommendation letter. Now, the next document is your proof of English proficiency. This document,
Okay.
most times people bother about, okay, where do I get money to write the exams and all of that? I tell you, you don't have to write the exams. Okay, for those that studied in Nigeria, you just need a letter from your secondary school or from your previous university stating that you studied in English. I actually use that. I have never written an English test.
IELTS.
Yes, I have never written it, so I don't know what it looks like. So I've never studied for it. So you just need a letter from your university or secondary school stating that you studied in English, and that most times it's fine, except for specific programs where they really emphasize that you have to provide a test in English. Now, the next document, which is actually not the least, is your research proposal. It's very, very important. So I have listed those documents. I think there are about 6 of them. Let's start with your CV now. What should be included in your CV? The first thing I would say is that your CV should be concise. You should use a simple font style when writing your CV. You don't have to bother about making designs. You should use a simple color. I actually printed out a sample CV I would have showed to you. I left it at work. I don't know what happened. So
That's fine.
yeah, so your CV should also be divided into sections. What are these sections that should be included in your CV? The first thing is your personal data. Now, gone are the days where we were writing, you write title, personal data, you write age, you write name, you write this, religion, nobody needs all of that, okay?
Sex.
Nobody needs all of that.
Marital status.
Yes, marital status, single or married, number of children, 5.
Number
No,
of children.
who needs that? Nobody needs that. Okay, so actually, your personal statement, your personal data should be like a header on your CV at the top or at the top right corner. Okay, and this should be your name, your email, your contact address, and your email address. Very important information on how to contact you in case, okay, these people think you are good enough and they want to call you. And it shouldn't be in a position where they have to go look for these details. So it should be at the top. Okay, so after you might have written your personal data, the next thing, people talk about writing a professional profile. Usually to me, the professional profile is generic. It's just like saying, oh, I am passionate about teaching. I am passionate about this. Anybody can say that. All of us, we are passionate, right? So you may want to keep that, okay? So go straight to your education section. Now, in the education section, you should state your year of graduation, the particular school you attended, and then the certificates you obtained. So assuming I have my title here, education, and then there is a line under it, and then I have the year, and then I have the school I attended, and then I have the certificate obtained. So you see that this, from what I've explained, your CV is already structured. So after you have listed that, you now move ahead. Now, let me mention that your education should be listed in reverse chronological order, okay? From the most recent to the to the oldest. So you don't start, assuming you completed secondary education in 2010, and now you have your undergraduate certificate. You don't start from 2010, okay? You start from your most recent certificate that qualifies you
Yeah.
for, yeah, whatever you are applying for. So after that, you now move on to your honors and work experiences. So your work experiences should be tailored to the kind of program you are applying to. For example, I have so many experiences. I even have a sewing experience. So you are not going to include that in an academic CV, right? So it is not necessary. And generally, I would say I have a general CV where all my experiences and core competencies are mentioned. It's more than 3 pages. It's a lot, actually. But from this particular CV, I pick out certain information that I need for a certain program or scholarship or whatever I'm applying to. I pick out from there and then tailor it to fit into what I'm applying for. So, for example, if you are applying for a teaching role, for teacher education, that's like a course, yeah. If you're applying for something like that and you had teaching experiences, you should definitely list out those teaching experiences. You should list out some experiences where you showed your leadership skills. You should list out internships. You should list out conferences where you attended and all of those things in this section. And now the next section will now be your honors and awards. Okay, here you don't have to follow the reverse chronological order. In this case, I would say you should list from the most prestigious or the most relevant. Okay, so for example, you won a very big award or you got a big scholarship. For example, I've gotten a couple of scholarships, and I may want to start with, okay, the one from the European Union or the one from Maria Curie or what you start from the most prestigious, okay? And you list them to the one you think is the very least of them. And then the next part of your CV will be where you mention your core competencies. Okay, your core competencies, you list your creative skills, your analytical skills, your leadership skills, all the skills you have, okay, that can help boost your CV and ultimately get you that scholarship. Any leadership role you have attained in the past, you have to list them. If you have led a group of people to do something, you have to list them. So this is under the core competencies. And then finally, we would have what I would say the additional information. Or before then, if you have publications or you've attended some scientific conferences, you can list them out. And if I want to talk about those that are seeking for admission into undergraduate studies, sometimes those people, when they come to me, they say, I don't have what to write on my CV. This video, I am not going to spend a lot of time talking about what you should include in your CV, but I hope I would have time some other time, maybe on my platform or anywhere, we can talk about CV for school leavers, because sometimes it's difficult. Someone would think, okay, I don't have what to include. I have not been for an internship. I don't have all these certifications. What do I write? Yes, you can still write something. You have your hobbies that showcase, okay, your analytical skills, like playing chess. You have some volunteer activities you should list, and these are very important things you should list out on your CV. I did mention that if you have publications, you should write them out, right? So this is very important, especially for graduate school. So if you have publications, scientific publications based on previous research work you have done, you list them out. So the next document is statement of purpose, right? And this is actually the document that goes beyond your CV. It tells more about your person. Eh? It also gives insight into why you are interested in this program. What motivates you, just like the name says, a motivation letter or a statement of purpose. So it talks about what is the purpose of me applying to this program. So I will list a lineup of questions that you should address in your motivation letter. I wrote them out actually so that I won't miss any. Mm-hmm. So first of all, you have to give a background of yourself. And when you give a background, use plain English. Don't try to be too exotic. You know, sometimes people use some big languages and it's difficult to understand. Most of some European countries, they are not mainly English speaking. And so don't think they are better than you or they understand a lot of English. So you'll be
So be as
stressing.
simple as possible.
Yes, be simple as possible, simple English. And then you move ahead to state the purpose, why you are interested in this program. So when you address the question why you are interested, you now move ahead to address your previous work experiences or education that will make you succeed in the program. Okay, what have you done in the past? What are the internships you have done in the past that will help you in this program? For example, if I'm applying for let me use a chemistry example now because I'm in chemistry. So if I'm applying for a program in chemistry, right, I would say I had worked in an analytical lab where I was exposed to the use of gas chromatography. I was exposed to all these techniques in chemistry that are important in that particular program or that particular course you are applying to. So if you are also applying for teacher education, you can also say, okay, you have taught in your previous years, you have done this and that, and link them to how it will help you succeed in that program. Then the next one you would have to address is why you choose this particular college, why you choose this particular institution. So there are a lot of institutions, right? So you must make your research because while addressing this question, it should show that, okay, you know what you are talking about. It should show that, okay, you have done your research about this school or about this university. You don't just write anything. Now we've talked about past experiences, share vivid, concrete examples. Yeah, when you are listing your past experiences, you have to give concrete examples. You worked in this company for how long? You've done this for how long? What were the skills you learned from there? And how is it going to help you to be successful in the next line of your study? So these are the things you should address on your motivation letter. And you should be unique, you should be authentic. Avoid acronyms because sometimes some acronyms we are used to, you may think another person knows it, but it's difficult for someone in a recruiting committee to go look for the meaning of an acronym you use. So you should avoid acronyms. In summary, for your motivation letter, I have said you give a background of yourself, what you have done in the past, that is your past experiences, and you try to link them to how they are relevant to the course you are applying to. You also have to mention why you want to attend the graduate school, and then finally, you have to talk about your future plan. What is the plan for the future? After you study, do you want to continue in academia? Do you want to work in the industry? What do you want to do? So these are the questions that should be addressed in your motivation letter. Now, the next document, how many minutes do I have?
Someone is asking, let's quickly answer this. What's the difference between SOP and statement of interest? Do you have any clues to that?
SOP is statement of purpose, and statement of interest they are basically the same thing. Actually, the two documents that varies a little bit is statement of purpose and personal statement.
Okay.
Yeah. Personal statement is a more personal statement. It gives a background of where you are coming from, how was your previous life, and what were those experiences that you had previously that has motivated to apply to graduate school. Whereas statement of purpose through motivation letter is like a bridge between your personal statement and your future plans.
Future plans. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So what
Okay.
he wrote here is more or less the same thing. Statement of purpose, statement of interest, they are the same thing. The one that varies a little bit is the personal statement, when they say personal statements and they say statement of purpose. Okay.
All right. Let's go to the next document.
The next document will be your research proposal. Usually at undergraduate level, you may not need this. But at graduate level, definitely, not definitely, but sometimes you need it. I didn't
Okay.
write it myself. I've written it for people from experiences I've had, but I've not written it for myself except my thesis proposal. I never wrote it like to seek for admission. That's what I'm saying, but I've written my thesis
Okay.
proposal. Yeah. So what is a research proposal? A research proposal is just you saying what you want to do, how long you want to do it, and what is the possible outcome of what you want to do. Okay, that is me defining research proposal in the simplest of terms. So in your research proposal, first of all, you must have a clear title. A title that, okay, when I look at the title, I can say what the body of your proposal is about. I can have an idea of what you want to write. Okay, so after your title, then the next thing will be your introduction and research problem. So in your introduction, you have to give a broad overview. Excuse me. You have to
Sorry.
give
Sorry, brother.
a broad overview of your subject. And as you give the broad overview, you try to narrow it down to your focus, to what you will focus on. For example, if I want to give a proposal about this YouTube video now we are making, I can say my broad overview would be that in the past, how many years? I can choose maybe 10 years. In the past 10 years, there have been a great influx of students from low and middle income countries to Europe and America for studies. That's my broad overview. However, there has been little or no information as to the processes on how to get through the application procedures and all of that. So that would be me stating the research problem, because I've said that there have been little or no information about this. In this video, we are going to talk about how to prepare your documents, what to include and what not to include. So that will be me stating what I want to do. So I have given a broad overview, I have narrowed it down, and then I have said what I'm going to do, okay? So that should be the introduction of your research proposal. You should be able to make it interesting, okay? Give the overview, narrow it down, identify the problem, that is the gap that has existed in literature or whatever, and then you mention what you are going to do in your introduction. Then after that, I have talked about, after that, you have to mention your research aims and research questions. So what do you seek to achieve in your research? In my own case, I seek to educate people on how to confidently write their SOPs and gain admission into graduate school. That's my research aim, okay? And then the next thing would be your scope, the scope of your research. So the scope gives a kind of fence around what you want to do. okay? Because you don't just run to the left and run to the right and then forward and backward. No, you are confused. Research is not done that way. You have to be concrete. So you have to fence your work. Okay, this will be the focus of my work. Okay, so that's the scope of your research proposal, and then you can move on to a literature review. So a literature review will tell the recruiting committee that, okay, you have an idea of what you are talking about, you have read what has happened in the past and what has been documented previously in that particular research field or something. And then finally, not finally, and then you have to give your research design. So after you have mentioned your overview, your research question, you have to state how you are going to achieve this thing. So this comes under your research design. Please don't forget to share your sample CV later. Okay, maybe, yeah, I will try to share it. I printed it out, actually. I forgot at office. Yeah. Your research design. So this encompasses how and what approach you are going to take. Okay, you have to list the techniques that will be used in achieving your proposed research. You have to talk about your sampling techniques, your data types, your collection method, and hello.
Yeah, we're here. We can hear you.
Okay. Your collection method, your analyzing plans, and all of those things. So this comes under your research design. And then you
Okay.
have to state your expected outcome. Although it is a proposal, you are not expected to have the results and, of course, write the results. So there must be an expectation. What do you expect from this research? So that comes under your expected outcome. Then finally, you need to have a resource plan and budget. So the resource plan and budget, sometimes you may not know the budget, and it's a bit difficult when it has to do with writing your budget. So that one you have to write in collaboration with your supervisor or someone you have contacted already to work with in the person's group or something. Or you may
Okay.
even leave it out. But for the plan, you need to have a plan. You have to break your work into months, into weeks. Like when I wrote my research proposal, I had to say, okay, my proposal was for 4 years. So I had to break my experiment into 4 years and say, okay, in 6 months, this is what I will do. In 4 months, this is what I will do. So that gives a kind of direction to your work so that when you eventually get the admission and get started, you are not lost. And
Okay.
finally, you have to have a list of references because definitely you wrote your literature review, so you borrowed knowledge from somewhere. You have to make a list of references, and then you double check. You read, and proofread. You send
Proofread.
it
Yes.
to people,
To
professionals in
help
your
you check.
field to review it for you. I've had some research proposals actually from people that are not in sciences, and sometimes it's very difficult for me, and I have to like send it to a trusted person to, can you review this, because I mean I can't know everything, right? And I may not know the nitty-gritty and details of your research field. When once you drift so much away from sciences, I get lost. So please contact the person in your research field or somewhere close to help with the review. But about CV and SOP, yeah, people can review it for you, but your statements of purpose, yeah, I do review statements of purpose outside of sciences because I just have to look at the major questions, whether you have addressed them, and I sort it out for you. So I don't know
Perfect.
if I have exhausted everything I have here, but I think so. I
Yes.
talked.
I think you've given us a good overview of the documents we need. I know, although you forgot one, probably the most important, your international passport. Very,
Yes,
very important.
international passport. Yeah, it's here. So yeah, you need to get your international passport ready, of course, because you can't go out without it. And let me
Yes.
also mention before I forget, I do tell people that when once you get your basic document ready, you can send as many applications as possible. Sometimes when people come to me for help, my first question for them is, do you have the required document? Because most times scholarship comes, scholarship information comes all the time. And then if I send
Mhm.
an information to you and you cannot apply simply because you don't have your documents,
Don't have,
then what's
yeah.
the point?
There's no point.
Yes,
Mm.
so I tell people, first thing, international passport, your certificates, if they are not ready, they should be almost ready. Your transcript, write down your CV, draft a statement of purpose. When you have the draft, you can always edit it to
Yeah,
fit
change, yeah.
in, yeah, to fit into the program you are applying to. And then if you have already drafted a research proposal, fine. If not, you can leave it out because sometimes it is not necessary. In my program, I didn't write a research proposal. Actually, I didn't need any extra documents apart from the standard documents I have told you. I applied from my room in Ibadan. I was in Ibadan, and I at the time my certificate was not ready. So actually, I just got a document from my department stating that I had completed my master's at the time. So I got my English proficiency letter, and that letter they wrote that I studied in UI and that I studied in English. What else? Okay, they prepared my transcript for me. So that was what I used. I had my international passport, and that was
Mm.
all. So you don't have to bother about um, test in English proficiency and all of that. If you don't have the money, you don't have to bother about it.
Yeah.
Most universities in Europe, they accept our uh, letter from universities.
Letters.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, guys.
Someone is
That's been
asking
an
about
overview.
what
Okay,
about
what about
undergraduate?
undergraduate? What are the basic requirements?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Like I have said,
The
at
same.
undergraduate level, you just have your international passport ready. I am working with a few undergraduate students now. So the only thing we have used so far is they have their international passports, they have their WAEC. You have to authenticate it at the Ministry of Education so that it can
Mm.
be valid outside the country. Yeah. They have what else? I told them to get their transcripts from the school. Some said their schools do not provide transcripts, but I got one that got a very
I
nice
suppose
transcript.
a statement of results can help for undergraduates, no?
It depends on the school, you know. I cannot give a concrete reply, right? Because some schools will even say that you should get an eligibility letter proving that you are qualified to study at a higher institution. So that eligibility letter will be gotten from the Ministry of Education. And that letter,
Mm.
you cannot get it without your original WAEC or NECO.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Okay.
most countries will wonder if the level of education you got at secondary school is enough to get you to
Is
university.
equivalent.
So the
Yeah.
only way they can prove that is through the eligibility letter from the Ministry of Education.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's been an overview of documents required when you want to travel abroad or migrate. We usually say that education is the easiest route to migrate. Education is the easiest route. And that's why it seems that we always hammer on education. Basically, we've talked about the fact that you need to get your international passport, you need to get your transcript, you need to get your WIAC results, your statement of results. You also need to get a letter from your university stating that you were taught in English language. You need your motivational letter or statement of purpose, and you need a research proposal. Guys, you can reach out to her on Instagram, on Twitter. It's Madam Prof. MADAMPROFF. Madam Prof. She's on Instagram. She's on Twitter. Just send her a DM and she would help you. I don't know if it's free of charge. Is it free of charge to help people to review their SOP?
Yeah, I help free of charge. The only thing I don't
Have you
have is time. The only thing I don't have
time?
is time.
So,
You know,
guys, you have to
I
be
had to,
patient.
you say?
No, I'm saying guys have to be patient. When they
Yes, they
send,
just have
you
to
know,
be
when they
patient.
send, yeah, they have to be patient. You would get back to them, no rush. You would get back to them. But this is very important information, and thanks for sharing. Not a lot of people want to share this information free of charge.
No,
Thank you very much for
sometimes I organize a kind of a group Zoom call
Zoom
where
call.
we
Okay.
discuss some documents with some people because I can't address them personally, each and everyone.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
yes,
difficult for me trying to handle everyone at the same time. And because of that, I even had to lock my DM on Twitter because I was having, free things, so many
yeah. I
requests,
know,
and
I
I was
know, I know,
overwhelmed. I had to
I
lock
know.
it at some point, but I will open my DM again for you guys
Yeah,
to contact me, and I
please.
will help as much as possible. If you also have someone that you are sure can do it and you want to pay a fee to the person, it's okay. You can contact the person. But don't let anybody take advantage of you. Don't let anybody
Exactly.
take advantage of you. Yeah.
That's been fun. Madam Prof is MadamProff on Twitter and Instagram.
Um,
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure having you on my YouTube channel. I'll be in your DM too. I'll send you my SOP and thank you very
Waka
much for
waka
coming. Okay.
doctor, you dey carry me catch cruise. Now, one thing
No,
I did
no,
not
no.
talk about in the transcript issue is that transcripts could be two, the official and unofficial transcript. And we know what
Okay.
is peculiar to our country, right? When it comes to
Mm,
official transcripts. Don't let your university be your village people, okay? So that is why I said when you go to the school's webpage, check for the deadline and work towards the deadline. So if the
mm,
school requires an official transcript, please start first with the transcript. Go to your university, go and disturb them. And also
yeah.
make sure that you try and have a copy of your transcript so that you can use in cases where unofficial transcripts are used. In my case, it was a difficult one. University of Uyo don't give out transcripts, but I had to try to get it. And actually, it was the unofficial one I used for my application, and I got it. Okay,
You see.
so just get when you have your documents. When you have your documents,
The rest flows.
yes, it just flows because you can just keep
Yeah.
sending applications. And another thing I
Yeah.
need to say is that rejection letters do come, okay? Because we have thousands of people applying for the same role, for the same school you are applying to. So you can be positive. We are all positive, but also prepare your mind for rejection letters so you don't get discouraged. A couple of people I work with, when they get their first two rejections, they call me, Madam Prof. They just make screenshot and send to me. They want to cry. I'm like, I got 4 rejections. Okay, I got 4, and these 4 we are talking about, these are the ones that wrote back to me, okay, to tell me that okay, we are sorry, we could not offer you a place.
Yeah.
These are the 4 that wrote back to me. The rest didn't write back to me. And as at January 2019, when I was sending out applications, I was out to send as many up to hundreds. That was my mindset. So if you really want to leave, get your
You will
documents
do it.
together and shoot.
Yeah, I should. You've heard it. Get your documents together and shoot. One final question before I go. For someone who's asked about doctors coming between MSc and licensing exams, it's your choice. Both of them are good avenues to travel. For me, if I had to choose one, I'd say MSc, so that while you're getting your MSc, you can write your licensing exam. So it's like having two qualifications, two accesses. So thank you very much. It's been 45 minutes of talking so that I don't take much of your time. Guys, you know how to reach out on both platforms. I'll leave this video on my Instagram channel and I'll upload it on YouTube as well. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having
Bye.
me. Good luck, guys.
Bye.
Bye.